In this video, we'll be looking at one key question that I think all indie filmmakers need to ask themselves, and why the answer could be the driving force in getting your film made. We will get right back to the main video in just 1 second, but before we do, another thing I want to help you with is this. So, like most ambitious filmmakers, I had all the same worries before starting my first feature-length film in 2015. One of those was a concern that I couldn't make a film without a professional grade cinema camera and lots of other expensive filmmaking equipment. Now, it took some time to let go of those concerns and allow myself to start the project. And ultimately, by using the equipment I had available to me at the time, which certainly did not include a high-end cinema camera, I managed to produce a feature film that made its way to UK television screens, various online streaming platforms, and also had a large cinema screening. Now, I mention this not to try and boast, but to ease any fears you might have about not having the most advanced or ideal filmmaking equipment to your disposal. In the link below this video, you can download the short, bite-sized, 4-page free PDF I provided that dives deeper into equipment considerations. My goal is to share my thought process and decision-making around this area and give you more confidence and control over completing your own film project. So make sure you don't leave without getting it. Now let's get back to the main video. So it might sound silly, but I genuinely think that more indie filmmakers should ask themselves why they want to make their debut feature films or short films, especially if they are going down the road of low to no budget to make it happen and doing it all off their own back, which I totally understand and even encourage if you don't see that magical budget appearing from somewhere anytime soon, which is usually the case, especially for debut feature films. But needless to say, it is a really hard thing to do in lots of ways, and not just the filmmaking side of things either. So you should ask yourself what your motives are for choosing to go down that incredibly hard road in the first place. Obviously, each person will have their own reasons for wanting to do it. And it's not for anyone else to say if they are right or wrong, really, I suppose. But having gone down that road myself with my first feature film, what I would suggest is they are strong enough reasons to get you through it, to fuel the project, to keep you going, spur you on, and even encourage others to get on board and stick it out with you as well. Again, particularly if there's little to no money involved to make it all come together. I would also say that your reasons should not be heavily reliant on future outcomes beyond having the final film itself, and to also be very careful how you measure your success in it all. What I mean is, it would not be wise to rely heavily on outcomes that are outside of your control, or to place the validation of all the hard work you're about to put into the hands of others and what they think of it. We could even extend that to say not to make a film based too heavily on what you think other people want, but more a film that you want to watch. But that is probably a separate video entirely. It took me just over 5 years to make my no-budget feature film. While I received help along the way, of course, what carried me through it on a personal level was my passion for films and filmmaking, along with a burning desire to always make a film. And also a sense of adventure, I suppose, and getting outside of my comfort zone. But this determination and those reasons were tested beyond belief continuously, and I was pushed to my absolute limits both physically and mentally. So all I'm saying is it's just worth considering your why from the beginning, that's all. Because if that foundation isn't solid, or the purpose lacks longevity, or it is all dependent on very flimsy future outcomes beyond having a finished film to be proud of, and outcomes that are essentially outside of your control, there is a good chance the entire house of cards is likely to collapse at the slightest knock along the way. And as I'm sure you know, those knocks are coming. However, it is also an exciting road as well, especially if you are taking the bull by the horns and not waiting around for things to just magically happen or for the stars to be perfectly aligned before you start. Yes, making a film this way can be scary as well. But what is the fear of not ever making your film in comparison to trying to make it? So just consider your why, make sure it's solid, and it will serve you extremely well much later on down the road.